Hi guys, wee Bob here, and I'm going to do a wee kind of waffle, Friday waffle if you want to call it that. It's Friday today. Alan's not done his Friday waffle and been kind of missing seeing those, but I know it can be a chore and I'm definitely not signing up to doing one a week. But I'm now in my new room. This is my new room. I'll put up some videos of me decorating it while I talk here at the moment. So yes, I had 2.5 weeks off of work and this room was a bit of a mess. It was my boy's room. It was set up for somebody to live in and he's moved out with his girlfriend permanently, and I decided I was going to turn it into a kind of guest room. So I'm not going to turn it into like a total man cave as such. I'm turning it into a bit of a guest room that's got a TV and I can come in here and watch movies and do the odd YouTube video. Now I realise I am in quite an empty room, so my voice might echo off the walls and the audio and this might not be great, but we're not going to worry about that as Lawn Boys Post states. You get what you get. It's for those that want to watch. So I've got a wee bit of a kind of things, notes down here. I've got a wee bit of kind of sections to do this in. And I just wanted to come on and talk because it's been too long. I've been doing the Project Zomboid stuff, which was enjoyable, but I'm glad it's done. Because I wanted to do it because I love playing Project Zomboid, and I hope you enjoyed watching along. I know Dale mentioned about them on his blog, and I appreciate that. So if you don't know Dale's channel, go and check it out. And there's other guys I might shout out as I go along here. But yeah, I think people might be missing Alan's Friday waffle, so I thought I'll do this, get out today, hopefully later on today. I do have the hospital to attend later today, nothing serious hopefully. I don't think it will be, but I need to just go and get some tests done. And yeah, so really the first thing here is what my week has been in it. Like I said, you'll probably see some footage in a moment of me doing this room up and the different things I've got in here. I got my posters come in, my couch come in. I'm not so happy with this poster. I did kind of put it together very quickly. It's of some of my artwork. You probably can't see because of the light bouncing off of the Velux window, which I do have a curtain coming for. And it's when you sit down, you sit back after you've done all the work and you realise, oh, that bit could have been better, that bit could have been better, that bit could have been better. But overall, I'm happy to have a space to sit in. I'm happy to have a space to come in camera. Hopefully people will use it and I can use it for my movies. I might pick up a sound bar later today. We will see. But my week's off was really doing this room and going to the cinema, and I'm going to talk about a couple of movies I went to the cinema to see. I'll try not to give any spoilers that aren't in trailers, so if you don't mind watching trailers, I try to avoid trailers at all costs. But yeah, it's been back to work week. We were off on Monday because of the Scotland getting into the World Cup, and me and my wife did get up at 2 o'clock, so well done Scotland. They play again tonight, so my well done Scotland might turn into we're back to where we normally are later on tonight when that game happens. So yeah, my week's been good though. Back to work on Tuesday, and there's a lot going on. There's so much work to do. There's way too much work for just me and this other guy that can look after most of the site. In certain aspects anyway. I'm not going to go into work stuff because it's not for YouTube. But I like my work. I'm an electrical engineer, I've mentioned that before, so I tend to do electrical design, building design from an electrical point of view. So there's a lot of that going on at the moment. But yeah, work's been good because I went in and things were going and it was a productive week. Got things done. We were moving desks around in the office to get a new seating plan, so that's okay. I can't really work from home. I probably could do certain parts of working from home, but they don't really like us working from home. So I am kind of based at site most of the time. Got my Jurassic Park poster here, so that was also come in a post. I did do that drawing. It's on my art channel if you want to see it. I think I animated it at the end with Rex's voice from Toy Story. So if you're interested, I'll leave a link to my art channel below and I'll try and leave a link to Dell's channel and anybody else I mention. So what else is on my list here? Let's have a wee look to see. Got a birthday tomorrow, so that'll be good. And not my birthday, it's one of my family's birthday tomorrow. But really, I just wanted to talk about this room. I've got my Panasonic UB820 player here. I've got my TV, which is a LG 48 inch. I probably could have went a bit bigger, but I'm happy. I've measured the distance from the couch to the TV for optimal viewing as it's put across, and that's kind of what I was hoping for, because I've got a bigger TV in my living room, which is through that kind of wall that way. Our house is kind of flipped upside down. Our upstairs is where our living room is, because we look across the sea. We look across the North Sea, which is a nice place. I mean, it's not like just outside my window, the North Sea's a bit in the distance, but I can see the ships pulling into the bay. It's kind of like a sheltered bay. They sometimes pull into there if there's going to be a storm coming in. So yeah, Arran is kind of that way. Depends whether it's that way for me, but aye. So the Isle of Arran, if you've ever been there, I know Mainmeister was there recently. Again, I'll try and leave a link to his channel below. So I wanted to talk about 3 movies. While I was off, I went to see a couple of movies at the cinema. And the first one I want to really talk about is Disclosure Day. I wasn't going to go see it, and my friend texted me and says, "Oh, you're off work." He was in work. He's like, "Why don't you just go and see Disclosure Day? It's a big Spielberg movie." And I just booked the ticket. I didn't have much on, so I decided to go. Went to Burger King first, and when I was in Burger King, they were taking ages, and I was like, I'm going to miss the start of this movie. And there's usually adverts before movies, but when I took my kids to see It, and when I say kids and you say It, it's well, they were older children, so when I went to see It at the cinema, we walked in and the movie had started, and I was like, what happened to the 30 minutes of adverts and trailers? And clearly we'd get the time wrong or something, but Disclosure Day was starting, and I hadn't missed the start, but when I walked in it was pitch dark, and I'd shoved this Whopper into my pocket, and I had to use my light and my phone to get up and see my seat, which was one of the kind of premier seats, because I just tend to pay the extra couple of pounds for kind of a decent seat. Probably doesn't make much difference in all honesty, but it means I can stretch my legs out and as close to people. And me being quite introvert, it's good for me. So yeah, sat down, but it was pitch dark. Like I thought, I was outside, I've come inside. Is it just really that my eyes have still to adjust? And I sat there and my eyes didn't adjust, and I was like, this place is actually in pitch darkness. And they started doing testing on the sound system, which was a bit spooky, because I was like, I'm here to see Disclosure Day. Is this like a government experiment on my brain? Are they going to start giving me subliminal messages? Excuse me. They're going to start giving me subliminal messages, and they started doing speaker tests and stuff like that. So I just got my Whopper out and started munching it, even though I couldn't see. My hands were covered in all the sauces and stuff. It was pretty disgusting. It wasn't really my intention. I wanted to go to Burger King, eat, and then go across and see the movie, but no such luck. But my burger was good. I really enjoyed it. I do like a Whopper from Burger King. No advertising. You don't get paid for that. So Disclosure Day. Not going to talk about anything that's not really in the trailers. You've got Emily Blunt, who is a weather reporter, and it kind of starts with a guy who's got some government secrets trying to escape. And the movie I'm not going to give away too many spoilers as such, but there just was certain scenes in it. Overall, it would look an average movie to me. It was very, very. I came out and I said to my friend that movie was rubbish. Compared, and I think it's because my expectations were up here. We're talking Steven Spielberg. We're talking big budget, almost unlimited budget, unlimited people who are going to want to work for him. This is going to be great, and it just was average at best. And there was some scenes in it that just really, really grinded me. Some scenes that I really enjoyed. Emily Blunt's performance was really good, but there was some really, really bad CGI. And you're thinking, how is that possible? I went and seen Jurassic Park nearly 30 years ago, and I was astounded at because it was realistic, whereas we've got a couple of animals in this that are CGI, and they're just really, really, really bad, in my opinion. I've heard that was meant to be the case, but no, sorry, that's just not good enough. From my point of view, I was just like looking at it going, nope. And then there's a bit where there's a reaction from the world, and people just seemed to, there was no argument as such, there was no discussion, there was just, here's something, and everybody's like, oh, wow, and you're just like, that's not how the world works. The world doesn't work that way. The world is kind of jaded. The world's very, we question everything we see, especially with the introduction of AI. Everything that we see, whether it be Donald Trump or whoever, you're like immediately thinking, is that AI or is it not? And the reactions that people were putting across in this movie were unbelievable, in my opinion, very unbelievable. And I think it should have started. Disclosure Day was really near the end of the movie, and a lot of people, as I would agree, said this should have been about Disclosure Day of alien existence, which is the whole point of the movie, and I don't think that's a spoiler. That's why it's called Disclosure Day. It's been all over the news. But it doesn't really start with that. It's all chases, and it's an action movie, really. It's a good movie. It's not a good movie. It's just not. It's just nothing special. To me, the way I described it to my friend, and I believe other people have said the same thing, and I didn't know that at the time, was this was like me watching the X-Files, and I've been watching the X-Files and then watching Ian Hill the Ramblings reviews. But if you've ever seen an X-Files episode, or you've certainly, if you've watched it recently, this movie is like an extended scene of the X-Files without Mulder and Scully. That's the best way to describe it. So that's Disclosure Day. Pretty disappointed in it, if I'm being honest. I know it seems to be very Marmite, but to me there's just a lot of, if there had been different reactions to certain things, if people had been like real, if you're a crack team FBI secret agency, you're not going to act in a certain way that this team react. Some of it just so bad. It hurts my brain, and even a second watch is not going to fix it, because you're just like, it makes no sense that even logically, even a rewatch isn't going to go, oh, suddenly that's, you can interpret that a different way. No, it just doesn't work in certain scenes. I think Cy Robson, I don't think he's got a channel, but I'm pretty sure he said he loved it. For me, no, it just didn't hit the mark in many, many aspects, and it could have been great, and it just wasn't. So the next movie I've got on my list here is a movie that's not on the cinema, it's in streaming, and it's called Remarkably Bright Creatures, and it's Sally Field. I don't remember the other chap that's in it. I think does he play the bad guy in Thunderbolts? Or is that the name of the... I'm going to look it up while I'm on here. But Remarkably Bright Creatures is about a kind of a woman who's night shift cleaner in a small town, and she meets this octopus. And at the beginning of the movie I was like, this isn't going to be great, because there's like a narration by the octopus, I think, from memory, and I just wasn't sure that it was going to work. But as you watch the movie, this small town, it just kind of works. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm just trying to find it so I can remember this guy's name. I would probably just be better searching for it, so let's put it in. But yeah, this was one that you can watch on streaming, and really good. So the guy's name is Lewis Pullman. I'm just trying to see if he is the guy who was in Thunderbolts. He is, according to this, he is. He's also in Top Gun Maverick. So quite a famous actor. So Sally Field, Alfred Molina, which I'm surprised I don't remember seeing him in that. Lewis Pullman. But just a great movie. Let's see what it says about the movie as a kind of headline. Remarkably Bright Creatures. It's Olivia Newman who has directed it. And yeah, just a really, really great movie. Very heartwarming. I definitely would think that Dale and Ian would probably quite enjoy this movie, so it's a recommendation for you, Muckman, as well. I think you'll enjoy it. So yeah, just a really good movie. So the last movie on the list, and I've got something to show you, is Masters of the Universe. So I went to the cinema with my family to see, well, with my wife actually, to see this. My two daughters came along, or two of my daughters came along, but they went and seen Backrooms instead. One of them loved that, one of them didn't. She hated it. I've still to see Backrooms. I know it's based on a game, because I've got the kind of general premise from my son. Similar to Iron Lung, which is another kind of mention. If you've not seen Iron Lung, it's based on a game. The game is pretty short. It's on Steam. I've played it and completed it. You're inside a submarine in a blood ocean, and it's got kind of lore behind it. But the movie's done by a YouTuber who had a small budget, and he acts in it. He's really, really good. The movie's, I would say it's like for me it was like Event Horizon, that kind of odd, you don't really know what's happening, similar horror to that, to my mind. Certainly not on the same level as Event Horizon, but that's the best way I can describe it. The movie doesn't necessarily tell you much, and you need to try and sort of figure out, and the game's sort of similar. So I went to the cinema, me and my wife went to actually see Masters of the Universe, and I got this popcorn. As you can see, it's a lenticular, is that what you call it? With Skeletor. See if I can move it closer and you can kind of get a better view. So you can see Skeletor, He-Man, and then I'll turn back to Skeletor, and then back to He-Man. So my popcorn was in this, that's now on my shelf. Again, you pay a premium for these. This was like 20 quid for this. So it's £20 or 20 quid, filled with popcorn and a drink. And it was my birthday. My mum had given me some money. She gave me 20 quid, so that's what I bought with my £20. I got my Masters of the Universe popcorn holder. Not sure I'll use it as a popcorn holder. Inside it's like, can't really see it because the light disappears, but you've got kind of illustrations, and again inside there's some illustrations. I'm pretty sure I cleaned it, so there shouldn't be any popcorn, but it's like comic book illustrations inside there, and on the top you've got a kind of embossed Masters of the Universe thing there. So yeah, but Masters of the Universe, I'm sitting watching it, the first 20 minutes I'm like, this is awful, this is really, really bad. After 20 minutes I don't know whether my brain switched and I was like, okay, it's cheesy, it's not maybe what you were expecting, and then I just loved it. I came out of the movie thinking, right, that's getting ordered in 4K once it comes out. Yeah, I'm going to give it a rewatch, probably multiple rewatches of Masters of the Universe. I really, really loved it. And there was a lot of innuendos, adult innuendos, which were, my wife loves that kind of humour, and she was laughing away at how bad it was. Yeah, you've got, it's just really, really bad. It's oh my goodness, even just thinking of some of it. So if you like innuendo, it's definitely full of that. The other part I really loved about it was the 80s feel to it. The kind of 80s guitar kind of riffs in the back. I'll need to actually look up the score or the official soundtrack and see who played and have a listen again. But you could just hear the kind of 80s vibes kind of wandering around in the back, and the colours were amazing. Skeletor, brilliant. It was kind of like they tried to break the fourth wall when they start kind of talking to the audience. It felt a wee bit like that. I don't think did they do that at any point where they specifically talked. I think there was maybe a couple of wee bits in there, and there was a bit of stuff that was kind of close to the bone for me. So you've got Evil Lyn, who's Skeletor's kind of sorceress, and he treats her like garbage, and he is very close to the wire, in my opinion. I was watching it going, how did they get away with showing this in a kids movie? I thought they were going to redeem it, but they didn't, as far as I could tell. There was no kind of redeeming part that I can remember. Maybe one bit, but yeah, just the way Skeletor treats Evelyn, I was just kind of taken aback by the kind of violence. If there was, it was certainly violent. And that's not me being kind of, I don't really think I'm particularly woke, if that's the right word for it. I'm not really sensitive to these things. I just was quite, for the type of movie it is, I was quite taken aback by what they got away with and what they portrayed. And I wasn't overly comfortable with it, if that's the right way to put it. I was kind of hoping for maybe Skeletor to get kicked in the middles or something at some point by Evelyn, but I don't remember that happening. So yeah, that's Masters of the Universe, certainly worth a watch, and I don't know, I'm keeping this, to be honest. I'm waiting on a poster I've bought of something coming in the post. I'll probably do a video on that now. I've got my room, so it's a nice area to lay out things I get as pickups, and I can bring it along and show you as a wee video, similar to Kev does. So like I said, it's nice just having a space. It's nice having somewhere I can come in. It's nice and tidy. There's nobody going to be living in here making a mess, and then I've got to come in and tidy up. It's literally a space I can come in, turn on the camera and start talking and showing you the stuff that I've got. So the last thing I want to show you, and I'm not actually really, I just figured I'd do a wee segment in these, and I'll need to write this down because I'll forget this by the time it gets to the next video. Kind of something from my shelf rather than pickups, because I don't pick up anything on a weekly basis. To me, there's quite a lot of money. Like, even to buy 2 4K Ultras, you're talking £30, which for me is a once a month thing, probably. So I will expand on this shelf behind me. You'll have maybe seen it in some of the footage I put in. Most of his Blu-rays, I've maybe got 15 4K Ultras. I've told my children for my Christmases that's what I would like. I do have a collector's edition of one thing, and it can be, I can feel myself getting, I was looking and I'm getting dragged, and I was like, no, just, you don't need these, you've got your streaming services. They might not be as good, and I get that physical media might be good. That said, I do have, I'm just going to go get it actually. I know it's kind of cheating, but this is the steel book of Wicked for Good. I think this was a late night purchase. I like Wicked. I've been to, when I was in New York, me and my wife went to Broadway and we watched Wicked. My wife fell asleep because we'd been walking about New York for hours and hours and hours. So yeah, this is Wicked for Good. But what I did find, and people bang on about physical media, is this started having glitches in the middle of it. Now, I don't know if that's a disc thing. I did take the disc out, wipe it down. I don't know if it's the player. I honestly don't know whether it's a disc or a player issue. I probably need to go back and rewatch this. At the time, me and my wife hadn't seen the movie and we sat down to watch it, so I was just trying to get it to work. I wasn't going to go back and see if we could watch the bits that glitched entirely, because it was just like the screen went a weird colour. But it does show you that there is flaws with physical media. So I've got my streaming services, and the kind of whole point of that conversation there was that I am all for physical media. I like having this in my hand. I like having these little trinkets and things because it's nice to look at. It takes you back to the day when you had the manual for the game and you were just interested in looking at all the nice artwork, and you can kind of turn it in the light and have a look at it and see. You can see the work that's maybe went into the image creation, and yeah, but I'm happy with my streaming services. I don't imagine this whole room's going to be filled with Blu-rays or 4Ks. That might change over time. as I do now have this space, I'll be more inclined to buy movies to watch in here with the proper sound system and TV, which I do have in my living room. Just my wife's taste in movies sometimes doesn't kind of go with mine. Like, I might want to watch Predator again, she wouldn't really be that interested in that. So that means I can come in here and give that a watch, and then plus watch all the extra features which I don't usually get a chance to see. So yeah, physical media, but that, go back to where I was going with this, which is a thing from my shelf, and it is, as you can see from the top there, the Karate Kid trilogy. Now, when I purchased this, I didn't realise it wasn't available in this country, and it's either German or Italian. I think it may be Italian. Mind you, that looks French to me. So anyway, I purchased this. I haven't actually watched any of it. We've got the Karate Kid and the Karate Kid Part 2 and the Karate Kid Part 3. The weird thing is, those are all the original images. I've got the other DVD of the Karate Kid, and it's exactly the same disc. In fact, I'm going to go and grab that as well, just to... Do I have the DVD? I'm sure I do have the DVD of the Karate Kid. And I'm sad this is in alphabetical order. It will be under K though, not the. It seemed to be there for some reason. Oh no, DVDs are down here, that's fine. The Karate Kid. So, the Karate Kid. This is the special edition DVD. I will have picked this up from a charity shop. Quite often when we go on holiday, you tend to find that the hotel room only has a DVD player, and we usually go to the what's the right word? To the local charity shops and pick up DVDs. And having said that was the original, I feel like I'm clearly mistaken, because that image there of Daniel is not the same as that. It just feels like I've seen this image before. And even the disc inside here is actually different. It's actually a more artistic type disc. Hopefully that come up in the camera. I might need to get a light for in front of me so that you can see my face properly. But yeah, Karate Kid on 4K, still to be watched. I actually bought this because I wanted to watch it with my children and do that whole sad dad thing where you take your kids through all the movies that you think are wonderful and they watch them and say, what the heck was that, Dad? That was rubbish. Which happened with Aliens. We ended up turning it off because my kids were bored. Could you believe? And it's weird because when you look back at Aliens, and I know I'm rambling on here, but this is a waffle, so watch it as long as you like. When you look back at Aliens, I actually find it quite slow. People talk about it this time as war, and there've been all these aliens, but there's not really that many aliens. And aliens, in my opinion, there's not really that many aliens. Probably an unpopular opinion. But having rewatched it with my children, I realised how slow it was, because I was like, oh, it gets better soon. And maybe it's the extended edition I watched. Certainly didn't watch the theatrical edition. I'm just looking at scratch. I think I've scratched my unit already, which is well done you, but such is life. You've got to live in a place. So yeah, that's my 4K, that's my off the shelf this week, and I'll bring something off the shelf to talk about. I mean, this nice artwork in the front, this looks like a nice image, nice painting. Special features, I cannot read that because I've not got my glasses on, and I've only got my cheap glasses, which I'm not wearing on camera because they're 99p, but they do the job when I need them. And weirdly, am I wrong? I think I'm wrong. That's right. So, I was going to say weirdly that has to go in upside down. Well, it is a bit weird because, like, to me that's the front, so you would put the front in like that, but then there's the black part, so you have to do it like that, so when you take it out it's actually the back, you see. Don't know, to me that's a bit weird. So yeah, there's extra features on there. I was watching the DVD, which does have a lot of extra features, which I enjoyed listening along to. I think I had the commentary on at one point as well. But the Karate Kid, what a movie. And I watched the Karate Kid Legends recently again and really enjoyed that. Anyway, I'm going to leave that there because this is going to take me half an hour to watch and then edit through and then add in posters if that's what I'm going to do, or put in the footage of me making this room. So thank you very much for watching, and Weeball is out. Bye.